Yes, the lady is in the house. What is good?
How's it going, man?
Super excited for you, super excited for me, super excited for the monsters, just excited for this stupid love you've just shared with the world.
It's a gratitude crisis.
The name of the forthcoming autobiography from Lady Gaga, Gratitude Crisis.
Gratitude crisis.
We're going to have some fun, I think, and that's not to say that I know on this album, this new era, you're going to address things that are of the heart and of the soul. You always do. But musically, at least, we're dancing, huh?
We are definitely dancing. I mean, like, I think the best way to describe all of the things that you just said is that I put all my heart, all my pain, all my messages from the other realm that I hear of what they tell me to tell the world, and I put it into music that I believe to be so fun and, you know, energetically really pure, and I want people to dance and feel happy. You know, someone asked me the other day what my goal was with this album, and it actually sounds ridiculous when I say it out loud, but I said, I would like to put out music that a big chunk of the world will hear, and it will become a part of their daily lives and make them happy every single day.
Oh my God, dude, you've already done it. I woke up this morning, I was on the Peloton, they were already gassing this song. It's crazy. No, I get it. You know, Michael Franti from Spearhead said something to me once when I said, why did you decide to stop making music with disposable heroes of hypocrisy and decide to make music as Spearhead, which was an altogether more groove-based experience? And he said, because sometimes you have to get people to dance in order to get them to listen.
Yeah, it's actually true, or like sometimes you have to move your body and your spirit and your soul that really even access what you're actually feeling. And I was feeling so down so many days when I was, you know, before I went into the studio to work, and then I would go in and I would sit there with Blood Pop and go, okay, I'm gonna open the portal, I'm gonna listen. I'm going to talk to all my fairies, all the fairies that help me write music, and I'm going to ask them what the world needs to hear. And then we would make records, and it turns out that they were happy. And I used to cry a lot in the studio because I would listen back to what I was singing, and I would hear my voice, and I would hear the music, and it would be so joyful and celebratory. And I would essentially see the arc of my entire day.
Very brave to find yourself in a place where the music and the art that you're making is in by its very reaction to what you're going through, to some degree searching for a positive contrast. I mean, that must have been a crazy, crazy balance.
I was searching for a positive contrast, but I didn't even know it, and I didn't even know if that's what would come out. And it's interesting because it's on the Stupid Love billboard, and it's also in the music video, and you'll see it more later, but the symbol for Chromatica has a sine wave in it, which is the mathematical symbol for sound, and it's from what all sound is made from. And for me, sound is what healed me in my life, period, and it's healed me again making this record. And that is really what Chromatica is all about, is it's about healing, and it's about bravery as well. And it's really, like, when we talk about love, I think it's so important to include the fact that it requires a ton of bravery to love someone.
Oh yeah, my gosh, you know, you really have to put yourself on the line, and especially when if you're lucky enough to go through heartbreak, and I mean that, I word that very deliberately, then, you know, you need to be prepared to do it all over again, and it takes huge amounts of bravery. And I think about, you know, the concept of Chromatica, as you put it, and the artwork and how things are starting to take shape, and I wonder what you've learned throughout your heartache to get to a place where you're still open.
I think what I've learned is that I can view the world in whatever way I choose to see it. And it doesn't mean that I'm deleting the bad things. It just means that I can reframe my life experiences and reframe also the way that the world frames life experiences to a way that I love and believe in. And that is Chromatica. I live on Chromatica. That is where I live. I went into my brain.
I love this term.
I found Earth. I deleted it. Earth is canceled. I live on Chromatica.
You know, I'm not sure if you told us that, but I appreciate the heads up after the fact.
Well, just in my mind, you can leave Earth in your head if you want to.
I guess you're confirming the album title and what this project is, and where the term Chromatica came from for you.
Blood Pop brought it up, and we talked about how Chromatica was essentially on its own, when you first look at it, it seems to be about colors and all the different colors. And also, music is made of a chromatic scale, you know? So it's all the colors, all the sounds, you know. So we're talking about inclusivity and life, and also a lot of what we see around us and what we're experiencing is math, which is very much like music, and sound is math as well. So we talked about that, and then I sort of went back and I said, okay, well, yeah, it's inclusivity, but it's really a way of thinking. You know, it's not just, oh, Chromatica, we're being inclusive with all the colors, all the people. And when I say all the colors, all the people, I mean way more than we could possibly fathom. I think that we're actually operating on a completely rudimentary level where we square things off into very simplified colors, when actually we're all extremely different in a vast variety of ways that stem from both like genetics as well as epigenetics. Like, we're all completely different. And I thought, okay, well, maybe Chromatica is a frame of mind. And that is my frame of mind. And I don't know that I've ever made an album that wasn't on Chromatica in some type of way. Meaning, like, my frame of mind is always a part of my music. And this is just my way of kind of expressing, even in a both literal and abstract way, that, like, making music and putting it out into the world is my perspective on life. And it's also my gift to the world in the best way that I can. And I think that everyone on any given day is doing the absolute best that they can do. And this is my perspective, and here it is. And it's always been my perspective, but now I know that it was my perspective. Does that make sense?
Total sense. I am so excited to dive into this universe that you're better understanding as time moves on. This idea of Chromatica and what it represents, you know. It's just another step in what's been a really fluid journey for you as you've continued to expose more of your understanding of yourself and the world around you. And then you dress it up in these amazing fancy boots. And I love it.
Yeah, you know what? It's also fun. I mean, it turns out pop music is fun.
I know, and the last time you were here, it was all just like, oh my God, I have to pour myself out onto the silver screen, and I have to pour myself out into my family history in order to better understand who I am as an individual. And now you're on the dance floor with all these learnings, but you haven't necessarily sacrificed those learnings. I respect it greatly.
Thank you. I put all those learnings into this album. I mean, the first lines of Stupid Love are, "You're the one that I've been waiting for. Gotta quit this crying. Nobody's gonna heal me if I don't open the door. Kinda hard to believe. Gotta have faith in me." Like, it's right there. Like, I'm with you, and it's not easy. And I know everyone in the world has different relationships with love, but guess what? I'm pretty sure that when we all decide to be vulnerable, it's really scary. And I think it's very scary for a lot of people, and there's all kinds of walls and constructs and things that have built all around us. And you know what I really want to do? I want this song to come out, and I'd love for it to collapse as many of those walls as possible, and people to be saying, "I want your stupid love."
We're going to come back and say, we're going to come, but we all love you. We're going to come back and say goodbye in a hot second, right after this. Stupid Love on Apple Music. Lady Gaga is on Chromatica right now, and we are streaming live around the world here on Earth as we're continuing to welcome her back with Stupid Love. Where's the Oscar? Where's the statue? Where'd you put it? Where is it?
On the way to the bathroom. There's Grammys in the Oscar. It's like in a hallway.
Which is such a subtle flex.
It was in the kitchen for a while.
Nah, it's way more of a flex to put it in a hallway to the bathroom, because everybody's got to go to the bathroom when they're in the kitchen at some point.
I feel really embarrassed whenever someone says, "Where's the bathroom?" Because someone inevitably goes, it's past the Grammys on the right, or it's past the Oscar on the right. I'm like, guys, don't say that. It sounds awful.
It's so good. Who'd you work with on this one?
This was me, Blood Pop, and Chami. I worked with Max on this a little bit. I mean, he is an amazing producer. I've never worked with him. I've always sort of gone, I write my own music. I produce myself. I don't need to work with Max, right? And I decided to stop being an asshole and just meet him at least.
Yeah.
You know? And he had sent over, basically I sang over a track that Blood Pop made. We were in the studio. We sent over what I sang to Max. Max picked some parts out, sent it back to me, and then I wrote lyrics and used some of the melodies that he chose that he sent back to me, and I kind of spliced it all together, and then I went to his studio. I sat down at a piano, and I played Stupid Love on a piano with chords. And I looked at him and I said, "That's what I've got for you. And to me, the song can only stand on its 2 feet, even with a great track, if you can play it on a piano and it still sounds like a hit. And he was like, I love it, get in the booth. I warmed up my voice, got in the booth, I sang it, and what you're hearing on Stupid Love is what we did that day. But I have to hand it to Blood Pop and Chami also for just incredible production on the record and the amount of love that they wrapped around me every single day. This was very emotional for me making this album, and I cried constantly, and I was writing poetry constantly. But you know what was really different? I didn't question myself a whole lot.
Why?
I don't know. It was so real and so honest that I basically would write something out and I would just say it, and it would take me not even 4 minutes to write it, and I would just be like, this is what it is.
Do you remember when I spoke to you about the idea of Joanne and how you got to that place and how every step of your journey had led you to that environment where you could go back home and you could actually thoughtfully reflect on your life and put it into music that dressed that perfectly? And to some degree, I'm saying the same thing. For you to get to a place where you can be so honest and be self-aware enough to not be so self-conscious, surely that's a reflection of what you've been on the last 3 years creatively.
Well, I think that it's definitely that. But on Joanne, I was more in a space artistically of crafting something that, conceptually all kind of went together. An album from my father, an album about the trauma of my family, an album about how we pass things on generationally to each other. My relationship with men. It was like very specific, right? This was much more like, you know what, guys? It turns out I just sobbed for 3 minutes, and this is what came out, and this is what should be there. And it was so real, and it was so like all my gears, all my musical bells, all my artistic thoughts, the way that I see music and experience music like a wall of sound, everything was just firing on all cylinders. And it made me feel so happy because I thought to myself, wow, even when you feel 6 feet under, you can still fire on all cylinders.
You can dance your way out of it. We're going to the club. We're going to the club.
You are. There's even a lyric on the album where I say, every single day, yeah, I dig a grave, then I sit inside it wondering if I'll behave. It's a game I play, and I hate to say you're the worst thing and the best thing that's happened to me. And I'm telling you, it's the truth. You can be 6 feet under. I woke up every day. I would dig a grave for myself, sit in it. I'm not smoking anymore, but I'd smoke 40 cigarettes all day long in my grave, right? And I would decide if I was going to behave or not. Some days I did, some days I didn't.
Are you really not smoking? We've been down this road before. You're really not smoking?
I swear on my life, I'm not smoking cigarettes.
Congratulations.
I completely quit. I quit cold turkey. But it was so hard. Jeez, don't if you don't smoke, don't smoke because quitting's worse.
It's brutal. It's brutal.
It's so brutal. And I will never smoke again because I think I saw Jesus for an entire week. It was so awful. But you can dance out of the grave. It's like we tell ourselves we have to crawl. We tell ourselves we have to cry. We tell ourselves we have to be miserable. Or that's what I told myself. And then I was like, no, you know what? And Blood Pop was awesome. We made a lot of the record in my studio house. So I have a house where it's Frank Zappa's old studio. It's a live room. It's a big studio. It's beautiful. And I would be upstairs on the porch outside the kitchen, and Blood Pop would come up, and he'd go, okay, come on, that's enough, off the porch. And I would cry, and I would say, I'm miserable, I'm sad, I'm depressed. And he'd go, I know, that's it, and we're going to go make some music now. And then I'd go downstairs, and I would write, Stupid Love, or I'd write that lyric that I just told you. We'd make another song. This album is such a display of not only how you can reframe the way that you view the world, but I promise, and I hope that the love that was around me in the process of making this album is something that other people feel, that they know that artistically, how producers are, but if one guy's working on it or one girl's working on it, they don't want anyone else to work on it, they don't want to share, everybody gets cocky. There was none of that. These records got passed around to so many different people. There were so many different iterations of these songs because we all wanted it to be perfect, and literally nobody cared who put their fingerprints on it, as long as it was the dopest thing that we could give to the world and that it was meaningful, authentic, and completely me.
Ladies and gentlemen, the lady is back. Stupid Love is your first taste. Chromatica's coming. We're going to the club. We're excited. I can't wait to see you and dive into this project. You've given
Can't
me
you wait until the club is your whole life? All day.
all day. You've given me so much to think about and prepare for in advance of hopefully a chance for us to dive into this record. I couldn't be more excited about it. And thank you so much. It's great to speak with you. And congratulations. What a return, yo.
Thank you. It's so nice to talk to you, Zane. Have a good one.